In this example, I will make two L-shaped stairs and two floors and some balustrades. So let's get started. New projects. You can fill out customer name, address, and those kind of things. And then you can use that automatically in the printouts, but I'm not gonna do that now. Let's say we start with a height of 150, the floor thickness 10, and I say okay. So this is my starting floor. I could also have set that this floor is not floor 1, floor 2, floor 3, but for instance, this is the main floor. So if I give it a name, then you see that it also gets here a name in this drop-down menu. Okay, I create a floor opening. We give it a width and a height. Now we also can draw on the fly any shape, but for now I just take a wizard. We can also have different shapes. I just take a square box for now. We will have on the B side and the C side a wall. Again, I can just draw walls on the fly as well if I like. I'm gonna place this. So we got our floor opening. If I auto dimension it, then you see this is the dimension. And I'm going to create, so we have different ways of creating stairs. With this, we create automatically the stair shape, and Staircon calculates how many threads it needs. We also have something called section stair. Maybe I show that now. Create section stair. Then you actually say from where you want to start. So let's say I want to start here, and you can dictate how many threads in each section. So in this case, I want to start with 7 threads. I can have winder threads, 6, 3, 1 landing. So let's take a landing, and then let's go 10 down. So now we have 7 and 7/8 as a rise. Maybe I take one more. Doesn't really matter for now. And here I can choose which model I want. So when I change from model A to model B, you will see that it automatically changes. And I can change also balustrade models on the fly. So if I just take this as an example to start with. Okay, this is my stair. If I look in 3D, then we see here the stair. So again, if I go to the properties and choose something else, you see it's the exact same stair. The only difference is that stringers are changed, etc., and other balustrade model. So yeah, for this model, it doesn't really matter with what we start. So let's start with just this standard one. Maybe I want to have a second L shape, so I can say floor, copy, and I can copy the floor, pastes, let's say down, and maybe I want to go to the basement. And basement is still not very low, but not 150, I guess. So I just say 120. Okay, so now we have this same stair down there, although yeah, I don't think that, let's see, I want to have so many threads. So let's say I want to have 7 threads. So let's look in 3D. So now I've got my basement, and this is my main floor. What can we do next? We maybe can open it up with where the wall is. So let's go to the next floor. And this is the main floor. Maybe even the floor opening, just to show you, I can move this smaller or bigger. Maybe this one is, let's say 25-inch bigger. And maybe the here, let's select the stringer and follow the wall. So Staircon knows here's the end of the wall at 110.75. So I don't want that. Maybe I want it at, let's say, 115. Just as an example that we can change it on the fly. The distance of the stringers and then the offset of the balustrades. I say OK. So if I look in elevation view, I can recalculate elevation, and then it calculates here that it's a cut stringer and that here we have a newel. I'm also going to make it white paint. Okay, so let's look in 3D. So now we see that we have this stair opened up here on this side. Now I still can move it back and forward if I like. If I want this more to go outside, I can just select the stringer and move this one, let's say here. Or if I want to move it perpendicular, I can say no, I want to have half an inch from the wall. Recalculate elevation. Now everything is centered again. I can also say that this stringer has a wall underneath. Maybe that's something good to show. So let's see here. So now you see there's a wall underneath as well. Yeah, we can have a starting thread as well. So here I can make it a starting thread, so we can or fill out these parameters on the fly if we want, or we can pick something out of the database, apply it, and then it's applying that model as well. Okay, so let's recalculate my elevation. So here, properties, balustrades, I want it to connect, let's say, vertical to the wall. Okay. So what else can we do? We just gonna say here to show you these are cut stringers. If it would be a model with house stringers, then here would be another type. So I can change this on the fly as well, but just that you know that all the connections between the stringer and the parts around it, you can on the fly change. So the same for this one here at the bottom. You can click on the stuff. And in this case, I'm just gonna not connect the bottom of this stringer, and the rest I'm gonna keep. Let's say here we want to create automatically a balustrades. Now it detects this wall and it puts a rosette there. So in this case, I don't want that. I want to move and go to the sides of this balustrades. And let's create also a floor above. And let's say there's a wall on the back sides. Now everything in Staircon has coordinates. So if I double click on this wall, you see this goes to minus 110. So let's say minus 180 to make it a little bit longer. And maybe to the there, let's say 50. And I create a balustrades. So now it automatically created a balustrades on the top floor. So let's see what we have now in 3D. So we got our balustrades with, now all of this you can set up in the database to do it automatically in the way how you want it, and also the material and finish override we can set up. So I didn't choose that for the stairs. So you see for the balustrade on the floor, we have an override for the balusters. But even if you now consider that this stair is good, but you want maybe, let's say, metal balusters, I can also change this on the fly and even go to pattern. Maybe I show that as a last thing, and then I guess we got a good example. One thing because it was first going to the wall, it has here a rosette, so obviously we want to have a newel there. Let's go there, and I select the rosette, and I pick the same posts as the other ones, and I can just select it, move it. Let's move it here. Let's look in 3D. Okay, so I could also make all these balusters white. If I say select everything, properties of the balusters. In this case, I want to have all of them white paint. You see the one from the stair also white. But as an example, it's maybe nicer to put some metal balusters just to show you. Select all the balustrades from the stair, properties, balustrades. And I choose here, let's say, 1/2 inch square. And I want black balusters. Same for the floor, properties, balustrades. I want black balustrades, and I want to have this 1/2 inch square. Okay, so I change this. Now I do it on the other floors as well. So getting here, properties, balustrades. And just to show you, we can also just take a pattern. So if I make this one's black, now I chose a pattern instead of only square pickets. I chose here to have a pattern of more balusters, and we can set up that it's having a few square ones. Let's say properties of these balustrades. I can choose to have 2 extra plain. So now you see that we have 3 plain ones, then a one with a panel, etc. So we can move them forward, backward, or do it different, but just for you to see that it's also something you can change on the fly. But most of the time we see customers changing this on the fly based on what the customer wants. Now in this case, I'm going to upload this to Sketchfab, so I'm just making it consistent, and I'm not using this. I'm just deleting it again. Okay, and we're going to put 1/2 inch square. And on the top floor, same thing, properties, balustrades. And we want them black, right? So I'm gonna say the balusters are black. Okay, so now we have our basements, we have our main with opening it up with the follow wall, and we've got our top. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching.